'cause I have got my voice and I don't need nothing more. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm ready, Lord. I'm not waiting no more. Don't negative, positive for sure. Tell everyone the good love is here to stay. I'm ready, Lord. I'm not waiting no more. No negative, positive for sure. Oh, Lord, I said my troubles are washed away. Tell everyone the good love is here to stay. The good love is here to stay. Yeah. Whew. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Amazing.
I appreciate you being here.
As we you, Michael. Thank you, man.
Again, my name is Mike Love. Thank you guys, all of you who tuned in here on Zoom. And for those of you guys tuning in on Facebook, we appreciate you. We appreciate your comments, your input. I'm just going to play some more songs, and we got a really great speaker, Mr. Ken Love, is in the house, so it is a love fest going on. It's always a love fest, but extra potent tonight. Thank you guys again. This is called Never Retire. I send this one out to all the farmers. I think now more than ever, we're realizing the importance of food security. And of course, we all know being out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, about as far as you can get from any other land, the farmers are so important and so crucial. Growing that good organic food, full of energy, full of positive energy, health, to build our immune systems, so important. So I'm so thankful for all of the farmers and all of the wonderful, beautiful, bounteous gifts that they bring to our community. So thank you to all the farmers for doing your good work. I know it's not always easy. It's hard labor, working with the earth, working with the plants. But it's so rewarding when you get to reap that bounty, and you bring in that, and you know that all of your energy, all your mana can be to nourish our. From the first moment I opened my eyes, I knew I had a destiny to realize. 'Cause we're all one people, one creature, one sky, and it is not the fate that we should be divided. And that's who we all would be if we can figure out a way to live in peace and harmony. The path leads us to choose. We got so much to gain, we got even more to lose. The world is changing, everyone knows. Forests are dying while humanity grows. And why do we feel like we don't have a say in the fate and the future of our world today? Corporate politicians hung up on the bid streets, making bad decisions for all of us. But so much undercover, it's only in each other that we can put our trust. So farmers, plant your corn. Trailblazers, trod it on. We all must face the dawn together. Singers, sing your songs, as I know it won't be long. This world will die, but the spirit is forever. We're marching forward through the never best victory. Beyond forever, now reborn, again before these hearts and hands to of joy and love and sorrow. In the burning fire, Rastaman will not teach him. Farmers planting corn, trailblazers trod it on. We all must face the dawn together. And singers, sing a song, oh, as I know it won't be long. This world will die, but the spirit is forever. Cause if into the future we all could see, we'd probably do things a little differently. At least I hope we would have the sense to see the futility of all this violence. Cause now we're seeing the damage we've done. We're becoming prisoners of our own sun. And if we are going to survive in these times, we got to leave the past behind. That's to just stand. I stand. Our past is our future. Future will become our past. From descendants to ancestors. Return for forever. Burn the fire, never be tired. Never know. Burn the fire, never be tired. What your love will burn the fire, never be tired. Even the hearts will burn the fire, never be tired. Burn the fire, never be tired. You are the farmers, burn the fire, never be tired. To the planters and judges, burn the fire, never be tired. The healers will burn the fire, never be tired, never be tired. Rastaman will burn the fire, Nazi trade will burn the fire. As long as there is breath in the lungs, as long as there is blood pumping through our veins, we'll keep on checking out the wickedness. Never be tired, Lord, never be tired, Lord. Rastaman will never be tired, never be tired. Oh, all right.
Unreal, Mike. That's beautiful.
Flamenco. El Flamenco. Beautiful.
Thank you guys again. Yeah. Bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. I'm gonna do a couple of months ago, and it's a tune called "These Are My Roots." You know, talking about reggae music, talking about my home, talking about love, talking about courage. It's a song about, one of the lines, one of the focal lines is in the song is, "I won't give my energy to fear and anxiety." Yeah, get out your castanets, play along, please. It's about, especially in this time that we're living in, so many people are getting caught up in this agenda of fear and turning us on one another. And, all you farmers, you all know, like it's all about community. And, very well that, nothing much can really be accomplished when you try and just do it by yourself. But when you bring your community together, you accomplish, such an exponential amount of work. And it keeps you grounded. And one of the things that I noticed about community is that, while we've been separated, people, it's easy to be in your own bubble and kind of like get yourself so worked up. But then whenever I get all these ideas and I start getting worked up, and then I just go and talk to a friend, it really helps me to ground down and be like, yeah, okay, well, things aren't so crazy. Things aren't so bad. It's like we still got each other. We still got family. We still got community. So this is kind of song about all that. If I was to see you tomorrow, would be your last day on earth? Would it fill your heart with fear and sorrow? Or would you look at it as a rebirth? There was a boy once sitting in the shadow, acting so far from away from the world, afraid to share the manna in his marrow, yeah. Afraid to let his black wings unfurl. But I won't be a victim of this society. I will play the music in the Babylon. I'm gonna give my energy to fear and anxiety. No, these are my roots. This is my song. Yeah. Na 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 na. La na 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 na. La na 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 na. La na 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 na. If I was to see you tomorrow, would be just the same as the day before. Would you look at the test of curse of a blessing? An opportunity or just a chore? Hey, to give him over that you're giving, now you living. Into its fullest time, you caught up in the system. To give out what to prepare these prisons. Cause fuck the system, yo. Matter with your vision. Cause whenever you put in your mind, yeah, you're gonna find more flower. So don't give it down, get it out. It's time to reclaim your power. It's only you that can save yourself. Yeah, so don't you be a victim of this society. Go and play the music in the Babylon. Don't you give your energy to fear and anxiety. No, 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 no. These are your roots. This is your song. Yeah. These are your roots. These are your roots. These are your roots. This is your heart. These are your roots. These are your roots. These are your roots. This is your heart. These are my roots. These are my roots. These are my roots. Oh, these are my roots. This is my song. Yeah. Oh, take you sing. Yeah. Get it down. I'm the perfect to the heart. Yeah. Don't get me feeling family coming from the soul. Straight to the music. These are my roots. This song. Woo. All right.
Yeah, brethren.
Beautiful, brother.
Let me
Woo!
see.
Awesome, man.
All right. I
Wonderful.
think I got time for all that. And we also got Ken Love, who's gonna do a little talk for us. So thank you guys all. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Love you guys. Mahalo.
Love you, Mike.
This is called Time to Wake Up. It's been so long sleeping. Been under a spell, yo, for far too long. Time to wake up. Been far away dreaming. We're in heaven, but you were living in hell. This is the dawn of our return to a higher consciousness. We're moving on to Mount Zion and the higher heights. And I'm and we've over this Babylon. Since we've been sleeping, but now our skin can feel the warmth of the light. Time to wake up. It's been so long sleeping. You've been under a spell, yo, for far too long. Time to wake up. You've been far away dreaming. Thought you were in heaven, but you were living in hell. All right, so ask it now, and you shall be forgiven. And the kingdom of joy shall be open to you. Righteousness is the path of the living, and the wicked shall perish in the sight of the pure and true. Yeah. Time has come and we need to know. Are you ready for this revolution, family? Hey, yo, our time is short, now we got to go. So are you ready for this soul revelation? Wake up from your sleep and slumber. Been under a spell far too long. Inside of your heart there's a storm that's standing. Love is breaking through and the clouds are giving way. Come out of the shadows, step into the light. Oh Lord, it's time to show your face now. It's time to do the right. I am passing between the sorrows and in between the lines. All that I can see a true heart. I see it in your eyes. I stand on the edge of never, chanting to those who will pierce my soul, saying I'm not afraid of forever. Now I am a part of a greater whole, just a piece in the puzzle of Zion, trying to find just where I belong. Together upon your destiny, with forwarding back to the one true hope. So come out of the shadows and step into the light. All the stars to show your face now. Step into the light. In between the sorrows and in between the light, and I can see a true heart. I see it in your eyes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, open up the window, the air is blowing thick. Stale eyes force fed to us by mindless politicians, servants to a beast invisible, even to them. Every waking moment lives within a helpline, blinded by the ends. Seeds of oppression planted within the hearts and the minds of generation after generation after generation. But come listen, brothers, now. Come listen now, my sisters. War. We don't have to hate them no more. No. We don't have to fear them no more. The all chemical weapons in there, bioengineered viruses in there, nuclear warheads in there, poisonous gases. No, they don't have no weapon that can kill a soul. They don't have no weapon that can kill your music. So open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window, let your love come pouring in. Open up the window. It's the wake up. It's been so long you're sleeping. You're a spell for far too long. Time to wake up. You've been thoroughly dreaming. But you're in heaven, but you were living hell. I also ask you now, and you shall be forgiven, and the kingdom of joy shall be open to you. Righteousness is the path of your living, and the wicked shall perish in the sight, the sight, the sight, the sight, the sight of the pure and true. Yeah. All right. Beautiful.
Wow,
Thankful
Mike,
to be
that's
here with
awesome,
you guys.
brother. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, Michael, Mikey, will you do me a favor? Will you do everybody, you know, when Mike first came on and he was doing the sound check, he wanted to get some water, and he stood up and he turned around, and now I know where all my hair went. Mike, could you show everybody your hair, please? Just stand up, and oh my goodness gracious. That's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful. So thank you. Mike will be back, everybody, to play after Ken presents. And so I want to thank you so much. I don't know if Dash is on here, but he missed the opportunity tonight to introduce you, Mike. But anyhow, I had the fortune.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, there you go. I had the fortune of first meeting Mike at HIP Agriculture's conference in Kohala with Dash Kerr, our Kohala chapter president. And so really happy that you could be here tonight, Mike. Thank you so much. And in talking with Mike.
Thank you.
And in talking with Mike, thank you for being open to presenting at our convention, doing some music for our convention in November. So.
Of course, man. I'm always down to help the farmers, man.
Thank you, brother.
You guys help us all.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that. So we will get after Ken's presentation. We'll get back to you. I want to say aloha to everybody. Cool. Thank you for being here. 48 people on this Zoom call tonight, and I know I know you're all not there for me, but we wanted to do a shout out to Slow Money Hawaii and thank them for being Ola supporters. And as you can see, all our Farmers Union folks, baby, we're all about supporting Ola Brew. And Ola is using all local ingredients, and we appreciate that, and we wish them all the best. And I'd like to thank Mary Spadaro, my paisan, my Sicilian paisan, for being on tonight and helping support HFUU. And look at all our community out here from across the islands. So beautiful to see. If you have a video and you can show yourself, please do. But what we're going to do with Ken's presentation, so we can make sure it comes through clearly, is everybody turn off your video. That would be great. And
we need to see, Vince, how many people came with their OLAs. We know how many $10 donations we're giving to the foundation.
Okay, here we go. So if anybody has an Ola Brew, please show it right now. How many people we got? Looks like 300, Mary.
1, 2, 3. Maureen, iPad, Ricky. Wait, that's 1, 2. What's in there, Ken?
It's Ola water.
Okay, Mary, Vince, Maureen, iPad, Ricky, Rachel, Sasha, David, Kayden. Wow, people really came out. Dylan, Kevin, that's 11.
There's
Vince Kimura, 12.
Mary, there's 2 people in some of these screens holding up cans, right?
Okay, well, 2 cans. Reba, Bryce, wow, everybody did it. Mana Mal. Okay, I've got what, 15? Oh, there's 2, 18. Are you 2, Maureen and Tane?
Yeah, that's 2.
Okay, that's 19.
Ricky and Karen are 2.
Shall we? It'd be easier to count how many didn't bring one.
That's right.
It would be.
Well, let's just call it 20. Does that sound right?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you,
that's
you,
$200.
Yeah, baby. Thank you,
Thanks,
Mary.
everybody. And
appreciate Slow Money Hawaii. Thank
Ola,
you so much.
Ola supports local farmers hugely. So
Right.
thank you for supporting them.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Maui is sold out of Ola Brew, so we got to get more over here. All right. So I want to just remind everybody that November 13th through the 15th, we're going to have our convention. And really excited about this. Micah Nelson, Willie Nelson's son, Micah, who has played here before on the speaker series, is going to be putting all the musical artists together, give you some kind of an idea of the music we're going to have. Of course, Mike Love and Makana, Paul Isaac and Savannah and Marty Dredd, Jack Johnson, hopefully, and Willie Nelson and Promise of the Real, Lucas Nelson, Edie Brickell and her husband, Paul Simon, and Particle Kid, Micah Nelson, Sonny War. Mike is working on getting Neil Young to play, and Dave Matthews from Farm Aid. Also, he's working on George Harrison's son, Danny Harrison, And we'll hopefully have all those folks for our musical lineup. And what we're planning on doing is having that on the first day, interwoven with farmers across the state. And so folks can really tune into the community and see what we're doing here within HFUU. We're really excited about all the support that has been there over the years for HFUU. This is our 10th anniversary, folks. And ideally, we were hoping to do it with a live concert with the Nelson Ohana, but unfortunately, the virus had other ideas. You know, I was up walking in Neal Valley today, and what I got big time, and a message I wanted to share tonight was, as the world wants to speed up and you know, be a runaway train, this virus is teaching us that the earth wants us to slow down and pay attention. And you know, it's the farmers who are the ones providing the food for everybody, and to see farms pivot away from the hotels and restaurant accounts into the local markets has been a beautiful thing. And there's a lot of support out there. What I like to say to everybody is, you know, farmers, we don't look for a free lunch, we produce it. And so, you know, continue to support local agriculture. And we have, you know, so many of us here on this call are growing food, and we really appreciate the opportunity to do so, and to be purveyors of nutrients to the community. So thank you for being on tonight. This is a big opportunity. Mary, you got something you want to say, dear?
Yeah, thank you for the slow down message. That's the message of slow food and slow money.
Yep, that's right. Right on.
Slow down and smell the coffee, roses, broccoli.
Well, we're really fortunate to have such a great community. I'm truly impressed by everybody that's here tonight. So thank you. Aloha to Facebook Live. The folks are on Facebook Live. So let's get going on this here tonight. Ken Love, you know, in my Facebook post, I put that, you know, best way to describe Ken, and he's an old dear friend of mine from a lot of years back when he was just a chef. And so, you know, as far as tropical fruits go, you know, Ken's the executive director of Hawaii Tropical Fruit Growers Association, do wonderful work throughout the state. He's been a big advocate for agriculture, especially in the fruits, exotic fruit world. And Ken forgets more than I'll ever know. So buckle your seatbelts, folks. He's going to go from the A to Z tonight in exotic fruits. So take it away, Ken.
I'm still trying to get over the whole hair envy thing. Sorry. So it's with you and Mike. I mean, that's I got to see if this thing is working now. The screen sharing.
Yep, it's working, Ken. I can see it.
Is it changing? Did it change?
Yep, it's the A to Z of tropical fruit in Hawaii.
All right. Well, then we'll just get right into it with A. So yeah, basically there's some poetic license I've taken with some of the fruit. This one, alupag, people have been fighting about it for years, whether it's more lychee or whether it's more longan. But the thing is, it tastes better than both. The problem is, if you can see in the top middle, is that the seed to meat ratio is not so good, but it kind of tastes like a cinnamon flavored lychee. And if I was, well, I would have said Mike Love's age, but I'd have to be younger once I found out he had kids the size of the age of my grandkids. It's alupag is somebody's got to plant 100 acres of them and develop one that has a much better seed to meat ratio, because if you get this thing, you'll love it. And it only grows here in the Philippines. It's really kind of a unique fruit. B, I tend to use the term biwa instead of loquat, the Japanese word, just because I've studied in Japan and worked there for over 40 years, on and off, obviously. Supposed to be there 4 times this year already. But anyway, it's considered the first sign of spring in Asia. They've been using the leaves for tea for 5,000 years. It's a very versatile fruit. In fact, a 4-hour drive from Tokyo and Tomiura Chiba, there's a place called the Biwa Club that has 3,000 items made with this thing. So Vince, the one thing now we spun off Hawaii Master Food Preservers into its own nonprofit, 501(c). So I don't have to write grants that compete with each other. It's and one of those things is to develop, value added products from fruit like this. In fact, almost everything you'll see here will be developed, can be developed into different products. Balimbi, or kamias or pias in the Philippine communities. This is a sour relative of star fruit, and there's a fair number of trees around especially in Filipino areas. We juice this and use it instead of vinegar. It's about 6% acid instead of white vinegar being 5% acid. It also is chock full of vitamins, which white vinegar isn't. So mango chutney made with this, and salad dressings and hot and sour soup bases, and just anything you'd use a souring agent for. This is to the Philippines like dashi is in Japan. Just a great fruit. Buddha's hand, actually we just sold a couple of them at the farm stand today. The old timers in Hawaii used to cut the fingers, boil them, coat them in powdered sugar, and freeze them for candy. Inside is just the white part of, like the white part of the lemon, the pith. It's called bushukan in Japanese, and it was used to put on the home altar, the butsudan, because the smell is fragrant. We used to sell a lot of them to a couple of the restaurants here. Still, the best thing is to put a 2-foot piece of bamboo in the back end and use it as a back scratcher. So that works. But it's still, the fragrance is really wonderful. Ceylon gooseberry, or kitambila, was one of the most popular fruit in the late 30s in Hawaii. Usually paired with papaya, because it gave papaya the acid in order to make to give it a safe pH for jams and jellies. So you found this kitambila and papaya jam around. And somehow it sort of died out and lost popularity during the war. Found it growing about 20 years ago on a old, no longer existent railroad bed in Kona that used to be for one of the sugarcane trains, and it was along the side of the railroad, the old railroad tracks there from the 30s. And so we took it out, and actually it's fruiting right now, and I got to remind myself to go pick it tomorrow. Some of the fruit that we have is still pretty new, like this one. The only fruiting tree outside of India is on my farm here. And we're making more trees and have advanced orders for close to 100 of them. We just can't get enough of it. It's a sweet relative of a mangosteen, kind of a sweet tart mangosteen. But this stuff makes the best syrup ever. Usually they're yellow, but every now and then they turn red. So all my buddies in India are very jealous that the seeds I brought back from the pile of the yellow ones produce the red ones. And it just happens that way in India as well sometimes, but pretty rare. But these things
What's the name, Ken? What's the name of it?
Koa, Garcinia koa, COWA. So it's really a refreshing fruit, about bigger than a quarter, but not quite a $50 size. And you'd open it like a mangosteen, only it's got a very thin rind. The rind is also used in India, like with another one that's coming up for to make tea, and it's used a lot in Ayurvedic medicine. And I'll get into that when we hit the K's. Well, durian. Some of you might know I was a news photographer with AP for a number of newspapers for 30 some years. So I was used to ambush journalisms when when my wife's friend came over, and I said, Margaret, smell this durian. And anyway, Lindsay doesn't like that picture because she, durian is still an amazing fruit, delicious. This represents one of the greatest economic potentials for Hawaii, for growers, because we can ship it to the mainland without all the BS like pineapples and papayas. There's no pest risk assessment required to send durian. And Thai Town in LA wants a container a week. We just don't have the trees. And as many, we put over 3,000 trees in the ground, our members in the last 2.5, 3 years, and average about 1,000 trees a year. And it takes 8 to 12 years to get up to full production. And as those trees have come into production over the last 10 years, we still can't get enough of it to export. But one of these days, it'll be on the radar. Egg fruit or canistel has one of the highest vitamin A contents of any fruit. If you remember white school paste, it's kind of has that texture, only it's sweet. This has a first cousin called lucuma, and you could buy the dried powder from lucuma or egg fruit in a lot of the health food stores around the state. The dried powder is produced in mass in Chile and shipped to the UK, and they use it to sweeten their ice cream instead of white refined sugar. So the uses for this in terms of a sweetening agent, and you can see the calcium content in it, is pretty incredible. Finger limes is one of my favorite. In fact, just yesterday or the day before, the publication I wrote for UH was just released. Won't be online for a week or so, but it was just released, and I put a link to the PDF on the Hawaii Tropical Fruit Growers Facebook page. And we'll have another one out in a couple of weeks on other Australian bush tucker fruit. When we were researching this, it was interesting to find that uses for this date back 60,000 years in Aboriginal history and in song. So, Mike, you got to do a song about finger limes, but you got to do it in an Australian accent. Sorry. Green sapote, I've been asked a lot over the years of what my favorite fruit is, and I can't really say one, fortunately, because I'm Gemini, so there's more than one of me. But this would definitely be in the top 5. This is, you hear about chocolate persimmon or chocolate sapote, but this green sapote is much more like chocolate sapote than the chocolate will ever be. I think that came out right. Anyway, it's a great fruit. It tastes like chocolate pumpkin pudding, and it gets a little riper, and it tastes like the kind of chocolate pudding that grandma made on the stove and stirred it for 3 hours instead of tossing it in a blender like we do, to make chocolate pudding. Just amazingly good fruit. Grumi chama, or sometimes it's referred to as Brazil cherry, which really isn't fair. It's called that actually in Hawaii since the 1790s, when Marin first brought a lot of fruits and became Kamehameha the Great's interpreter. Brazil cherry has been used for 3 different types of fruit here. So Grumi chama is really the much more accurate name, and it tastes like a cross between a black cherry and Jabote kava. And it's also an early sign of spring. It can be kept as a hedge. It doesn't have to become a tall tree. The only problem is fighting the birds for it. It usually flowers and fruits once in May. Last year we had 32 inches of rain, this year over 90. So we actually got 2 fruitings out of this for the first time in the 40 years I've been around here. One of the other messages I try to get across is value add. When you talk about value added products or value addition begins in the farm, and not necessarily, it doesn't mean just making jams and jellies. It also, it's in terms of how you make money to become more sustainable as a small farm or small family farm. We used to sell persimmons to our local grocery 50 cents a piece. So 5 fruit, you know, is $2.50. So you just put this piece of paper and a piece of string in a plastic bag, and that sold for $4.99, because you're teaching something on how to make dried persimmons, which is loved in Asia. Persimmons, every continent has a different type of native persimmon, as do some of the islands like our own Ilama. So the little case in the middle of the right there is in a fruit park and museum in Nagoya called Togokuzan, and they had I think there's over 800 types of registered cultivars of persimmon, and they had about 60 wax versions on display. So you could see all the shapes and sizes. A little bit different than what Clark grows in on Maui. People ask about bananas all the time. With ice cream bananas, people either love them or they don't love them, I guess. I haven't heard much middle of the road with it. I like them because when they go from blue, you know, to green to yellow, when they get yellow and soft, you can spread it with a knife instead of butter, or you freeze them and it is like ice cream, and then put it through a champion juicer with a little honey for like a banana frosty, or it's great in smoothies, obviously. It's also very resistant to bunchy top, which, you know, we have problems with just about everywhere in the state. So it's a good banana to get a hold of if you can. Ice cream bean. This is another really interesting thing. I think there's 40 some species of edible inga beans. The bean on the upper right corner is about a yard long. I mean, it's just huge. It's also great for back scratching. But inside, the beans are either black or green with a little white areole around them. And the white fluff around the beans is what you really eat, and that tastes like cotton candy. Inside, the beans are either black or green. So the green ones were usually cooked in soups and stews in Central America, and the black ones were ground into a masa. And this was brought here from Central America in 1928 to provide shade for Kona coffee. It was very fast growing, very tall tree. Everybody loves Jaboté kava, and it's really coming into its own. We have a member on the Hilo side that collects them and has about 40 different types of Jaboté kava. So there's a lot more types out there than just the regular purple ones that we get here. So it's definitely worth looking into. It makes some of the most popular jam, jelly, and syrups that you can find in farmers markets around the state. And makes great salad dressing. And my son, who's a chef at the Four Seasons here, uses, he makes the intermezzo, like a hot sauce, Jaboté kava hot sauce with them. So there's all kinds of options. All right, this is the K one I was telling you about. It's Kokum or Garcinia indica. A lot of Ayurvedic medicines were founded around this this fruit. I heard the rinds are usually dried in salt, like you can see, and they're used to brew teas and made into butters or as a salve. My partner in South India, I mean, they weren't doing anything with the fruits, and I go, my God, they're throwing out all of that fruit that they took out of it because the rinds are what the market's for. So we wound up giving jam and jelly classes in South India at a kind of a neighborhood center on how to turn kokum into a jelly. And man, it's a sour version and roughly the same size of mangosteen, kind of closely related. And just and there's a fair number of these just coming into their own in Hawaii. So you should see them at farmers markets in the next couple of years. There's no instant gratification with growing tropical fruit in Hawaii. People expect to plant a tree and get something next year when some of these things can take 20, 25 years to produce. Some seeds can take 2 years to germinate. So it just talk about patience. Wow. Lulo or Naranjia, I can't trill my R's anymore. And poor Mrs. Geekus in my high school would have been really disappointed. We call it Lulo because one of our members and one of the activists here, Bruce Corker, who was involved in the early days of HFUU, was his job in the 60s was to develop the Lulo cooperative in Colombia, where this is from. Lulo is, you can buy Lulo drink from vending machines and train stations in Tokyo. It's gotten very popular. In part, according to the Deputy Minister of Agriculture in Colombia, who I used to meet with every year in Tokyo, he said, oh, we always want to thank you Americans for sending all this money to fight drugs because we use it to market our fruit in Japan. So they use Tropical Maria as their spokes character, I guess. This is one that the midgeonberry is another bush tucker or Australian Aboriginal fruit. The publication on this will be out in a week or so that I wrote for UH. This is like a white blueberry with purple spots instead of a blueberry with occasional white spots. It tastes like a blueberry. It's friendly to the tropics. It grows beautiful. It has just thousands of these pretty little white blossoms. The problem is getting it to fruit here. We need different genetics, because we found out that all of the sources for this plant that are in Hawaii, California, and Florida all came from the same plant. So as soon as it opens up again, I'm going to Fraser Island off the coast of Queensland to the ancestral home of the midgeonberry to get some more genetics and get this going here. Because it's just like, it's a blueberry that we can grow at low elevations in Hawaii, only it's white. Jackfruit or lanka, I know Paul on Maui Di Felipe is doing a lot with jackfruit now. I don't know if we still had, up until the beginning of the year, we still had the Guinness Book of Records for the world's largest jackfruit. That's because the picture in the middle, it's my partner on the left and friend on the right, and this was 140 pounds where our record was 80 pounds. And I said, okay, you guys win. I'm going to write up the paper so that you guys can claim the Guinness Book of Records. Oh no, Ken, we'll wait till we have 200 pounds, then you never catch us. So we still have the record. Jackfruit, as most of you probably know, is an amazingly versatile fruit. I have a cookbook here in Malayalam with 3,000 recipes for it. And I had to give canning lessons on how to preserve it on the palace grounds in Trivandrum at the southern tip of India, which was really a very cool experience. So now you can start to see jars of jackfruit in some of the grocery stores around India that's produced with a safe pH. Oh, haloberry. Well, this is still an upper elevation plant, and as far as I'm concerned, always will be. Dr. Francis Z used to be with the USDA, and Hilo had a project to identify some cultivars for planting, and he gave me about 6,000 ohelo trees to try at various low elevations, and I killed every one of them. There was nothing we could come up with that would keep these trees alive below 5,000 feet or 4,800 feet, I guess it was. They're become extremely popular in Oregon and Washington now, especially around Corvallis and the USDA facilities there. Ray, this is another Aboriginal fruit. This is really my favorite. Davidsonian plum is another one that is the other name for this. Ray that name has been in use for 60,000 years, according to the stories handed down from the various Aboriginal tribes, although there's 5 or 6 different Aboriginal tribal names for this fruit. It's a very tall, narrow tree. It looks like Brontosaurus would be eating from the top of it with the serrated leaves and, one of those Jurassic looking type trees. And these big bundles of these fruits that are, the old silver dollar size are hanging down from it. And the thing is, it's very sour. I mean, really sour. But we took it to a chef fest at the Four Seasons, where I still work once in a while. And it's the other chefs at this festival just went nuts for it. In fact, people are complaining because they're not being served at the different stations, because they're all over by my station talking about what they could do with Ray or Davidsonian plum. So it's the only jelly that we had that sold out in one day, 40 cases or 40 bottles. It's in Australia, it's dried and made into a powder and used as a rub. Powdered drinks are made from it. Hot sauces are made from it. Wines and aperitifs, just extremely versatile, very unique plum-like taste. To be honest, I threw a bunch of them in a jar of Clausen pickles I just finished and let them sit there for a month. I couldn't stop eating them. Ate half a jar. So it's just, and we actually have a lot of these trees, because we planted seed, about 500 of them. And eventually each of our repositories on every island will have these, for cheap or next to nothing, or work trade, where you can get the trees. Pulasan is another one that it really does very well in Hilo, not so well in drier Kona, although this year I wish I had them planted. Same family as rambutan, only those hairs are more rubbery spine type things. It's super sweet and well worth diving into if you can get a hold of them, or you're in a very wet location where they'll grow. I remember this is A to Z, so I had you take some license, and so Guinepa or Spanish lime or Mamalosillo. This is kind of the most popular fruit in Puerto Rico. And there's very few trees in Hawaii. There's one at the National Tropic Botanic Garden on Kauai that produces by itself, where it's generally thought that you needed male and female trees. But if you can get this is the type of thing you just crack it open, you can suck on it for 3 or 4 hours, and it's still refreshing. Rollinia, we've distributed close to 5,000 trees of Rollinia in 3 years, and you still don't see them in the marketplace, even though they're almost all producing now. And that's because once you've had one, you don't want to sell them, you just want to eat them. It's a cherimoya relative, and it is, I don't know, I kind of describe it as lemon, caramel, custard pudding fruit. I mean, it's that good. It has a couple of different botanic names. Rollinia deliciosa when it's nice and yellow, and then it starts to turn black in 3 or 4 days, and it becomes Rollinia mucosa. And like Rollinia squamosa is called sugar apple, and Annona reticulata is called custard apple. And all the Annona families have those apple names. So Rollinia mucosa is called snot apple. But true story. Soursop, everybody knows about, and usually has 1 or so growing. It's actually the chefs that finally got into it. There's always been kind of a a hard sell, as I'm sure Maureen would agree with, for sour saps. But you know, over the last couple of years, we've seen an increase, not just for the leaves, which are also touted as a miracle cure for just about everything, but people are coming to more acquired to the taste and more receptive to its unusual taste, and as well as better cultivars being developed with less fiber. Suriname cherry, we have these black Suriname cherry now, which are a couple varieties here, Sturmer and Kawahara, and then there's one from Florida that's Zill, and they don't have the same astringency as the red Suriname cherries. Our students at the culinary school here use them to, you know, for the curry sometimes, just to color the curry. One of my students made the ice cubes from the Suriname cherry juice and put it in, the juice was made from Rangpur limes. And he left the opening at the top and served it to me. And I said, how come you left the opening here and didn't fill it all the way up? He said, we thought you want to pour sake in it and call it the rising sun. So I saw that smile, Vince, can't hide. So yeah, and actually the rising sun has gotten to be a really good drink. Tropical apricot is across from the Kitambila or Ceylon gooseberry from before. It's a natural occurring hybrid from Florida. I've been working for 30 years to breed one of these things that's sweeter just through selective breeding. And I'm on the 4th or 5th generation now where we've got some really sweeter, but still sweet tart, but sweet enough where people actually go back to buy seconds of them in the grocery store where we test market stuff, or used to when there were people out shopping. Chef Paul at the culinary students has an advanced class where they make terrines and ballantines and things like the one you see below, and with 12 different fruit in that, and the tropical apricot jello is used for the basin to hold it together. And it's very popular jelly that you can make with it too. And we usually have to go through about 500 bottles of this a year. And a lot of it, for some reason, somebody in the U brought it back to the UK. It might have been Christine Shepherd, Maureen, brought this to the UK, and now people order cases of 24 jars. Ume, there's 5 types of ume that are used for umeboshi. And this one, chuo ume, well, there's ko ume, chuo ume, dai ume, anzu ume, and tsumomo ume. Anzu ume is the big umeboshi you get in Japanese restaurants. You know, ko ume you get here in the little musubi, or sometimes in spam musubi. This is chuo, and it's originated in southern China, and it is the only one that will grow in the tropics. We've had these grow and produce at 200 feet, and it's hot. When you first pick them, when they're purple like this, they're hard, but if you wait 3-4 days, they soften, and they taste just like damson plums then, just regular purple European plums. Voavanga, my tree, I stole all these pictures from my buddy or Anester, but mine is finally fruiting this year, the Spanish tamarind. And it's used like tamarind. It's a souring agent in the Spanish brought it from Madagascar originally. So it's used in coastal Africa and up into Spain and a little bit around the Med instead of the other tamarind. And the taste is, once you make it, is almost indistinguishable. Wampi. Wampi is originally from southern China, and there's a lot of different cultivars of Wampi there. It's a citrus relative, actually, and so the skin is bitter, but inside it tastes like you know, a sweet citrus. In southern China, the different cultivars are named for Tai Chi movements, and The one we have here in Kona is called Stroking the Wild Horse's Mane Wampy Fruit, which you can't make up names like that. So it's just really very pleasant. It's a beautiful evergreen tree, and you can see the flowers. It brings in pollinators. So we have a few of them spread around, not just for the fruit, but also to assist with pollination in areas that need it. Water apple, Syzygium aqueum, is a cousin of mountain apple and a cousin of wax apple or wax jambu. It's given to women after childbirth in Malaysia. You can have a bottle of Gatorade or a couple of these little water apples, and you get the same effect on your electrolytes. So it's a really good energy, kind of sweet tart energy fruit that I have red ones, pink ones, and then I've got some white ones we've got from India. I had to have an X, so needed potential, you know, I had to play with it. Sigwa or Suica is Japanese for watermelon. And, you know, I've spent 40 years working in and out of Japan. Almost, it'll be 40 years next year, actually. If you had said 6 years ago, if you had said that there was a better watermelon than Japan, I would have said you were nuts, just crazy. This is impossible. Until I went to teach the master food preservers on Molokai, and my buddy Marshall brought me over one of his watermelons. That's all I ate for a week there teaching. Was I just had one of his big watermelons every day. It was the sweetest, best tasting watermelon grown in Hawaii organically. And it blew the Japanese melons out of the water. We can do it here. When you want to do it, you can do it here. So there's a way. Yuzu, we got a great yuzu crop this year, thanks to all the rain. It's extremely popular in Japan and Korea. It's used for a wide variety of products like yuzu kosho or hot sauce, yuzu tea. In Korea, you can buy yuzu jelly. You can buy another yuzu jelly to mix with tea, and a third type of yuzu jelly to mix with your yogurt. So it's essentially the same recipe with a little more juice in it, for marketed for 3 different distinct things. And Ziziphus or jujubes, which are tough to grow here. In fact, the top middle picture was from the Crawford Market in Mumbai. The ones on the right were from Kona, up from the airport. So we're still trying to figure out how to get these to survive. Once we, actually, in a lot of cases, trying to propagate them, and it's always been hard. I know Coconut Chris Carter's been working on propagating some in Waipio. So with luck, that'll happen. Okay, Vince, this is the quiz that everybody needs to understand. And you don't have to take a poll or raise hands, but you have to look at this, like what damages our agriculture here the most? What do you think is the problem that farmers have to face here a lot? And, you know, the oranges 6 for $1, or tangelos 3 for $1, avocados at 50 cents each, or Hawaiian ginger from California that's produced in China. Wait a minute, where is this? You know, you should have seen Governor Abercrombie's face when I showed him that box. But this is still coming in, or bananas from Ecuador. Bringing in taro from China, there ought to be a law. Well, that's another story. So what do you think it is, Vince? I'll put you on the spot.
0.4% of the state budget being for agriculture.
Yeah, that's a big problem, but that's not.
I know. I don't want to play. I'm playing the game differently. Okay. You tell me, brother.
Well, here it is. So you've got to figure real cost of production.
Right.
We did all this stuff based on $12 an hour labor before it became 15 or more. And, you know, it costs you 23 cents to produce an orange. You can't sell them at 10 for a dollar and expect to be sustainable and make money. You just can't do it. So, I mean, I'm saying, 10-cent tangerines, I mean, come on, man, that's like 21 cents a piece. If you figure proper depreciation, your cost of labor at $12. How many farmers pay themselves?
What's that?
Well, yeah, exactly. So we have to start thinking like that.
Right.
And we have to reclaim our markets from
Right on, Ken.
no matter what. We got to. And Maureen, don't get mad at me, Maureen, but because actually I've been, all my stuff goes to adaptations, at least when there's hotels and restaurants in business. And I've always been treated right because I love Maureen and Tane. And but they understand cost of production and they understand quality. And that's rare. That doesn't happen for me with strong arm produce. Oops, I never mind. I twisted it around again.
Cisco.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's another story.
Right.
Anyway, so that's pretty much it. If you haven't seen the new poster we did, I got all the fruit posters, and you should be buying them wholesale and selling them on Maui events.
We will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. This has got just a ton of amazing spices, many of which, I won't say all, but many of which we can grow here. Actually, I found out that people are growing grains of paradise. Do you ever hear of that?
No.
It's an amazing spice. It's like black pepper. Vince, I'm not, the other Vincent, I'm not paying any attention when you give me time limits. I told you. So, almost.
Hey, Ken, OK Farms has grown a lot of spices too. I noticed that Ala is making a lot of products now with her spices.
Yeah, and Paul's doing great with his black pepper. Tommy Greenwell on this island with black pepper. We're growing a fair amount of black pepper. A guy cellular with the vanillary in Baikona Airport. If you haven't been on that tour, it's amazing to watch a real vanilla orchard. Big Island Citrus. Yeah, it's this is an early version and not the final poster, but it was the only JPEG I could find.
How many posters do you have out now, Ken?
I don't know, but I'm running. You keep count, will you? So right. I think 8 maybe. The spice poster took about 5 years, and a lot went into it. I mean, I took a camel from Abu Dhabi across the peninsula into Oman, following an old pre-Islamic time period of an old spice trail.
Nice.
Scoured back streets in Bangalore and Hong Kong to find things that aren't common that we could potentially grow here and develop. We as farmers have two choices, right? We can either grow the same things that everybody else is growing and try to get into the marketplace, or we can, break some boundaries and market new products.
Absolutely.
And we have to use USDA statistics as well. So, we grow and sell 1 million pounds of avocados and we import 4 million pounds. You want to guess how many million pounds of citrus we import? 22 million. So there's an opportunity, just 4 million pounds of lemons alone. I'd like to sell 4 million pounds of anything legal. So there's you got to pick and choose the opportunities, and as growers we have a lot of opportunities. Yeah, just for avocados, which still is amazing. We have a Facebook poll every 2 weeks on what avocados people are harvesting, so that we can get an idea of the lean periods, and then try to focus on some of the microclimates and some of the cultivars that are grown in the weaker period, summer months and other off seasons. So it's a continuous amount of research. And thanks to Stu Hart for coming up with some more weird mangoes. We added the new version of this has 3 more lines of mangoes. And there's always bananas. In 1992, there were over 100 types of bananas here. In 2002, I think when I did this poster, I could only find these 50. And now thanks to Chris and Gabe and some of the other guys really into bananas, we're back over 100 again. So everything is always in flux here. And there's so many good people working on it that, we just keep plugging away. And this is the new HTFG greenhouse that'll be finished within, this is your tax dollars at work. It was a grants and aid from the state legislature. There's 8 containment rooms inside, with some have foggers or misters or sprayers. We can bring in 8 different overseas shipments. And because it's a step above quarantine, because everything has to be quarantined for 2 years, it can no longer just sit in your field for 2 years, it has to come into a greenhouse. And it has to, because it's quarantine, because it's a containment instead of quarantine, we can apply for variances for new mango and citrus cultivars to keep us a little more current, like with some of the super sweet citrus from Japan and newer mango cultivars from Southeast Asia. So it's got great potential. One of the rooms, we rent the rooms for $5,000 a year. One of the rooms is already rented, even though we haven't opened it and it hasn't even been inspected yet.
And who do you rent it to, Ken? Who do you rent it to? What kind of...
One of our Hilo growers who likes to bring in stuff and collects unusual trees.
And so how many square feet is that?
It's 30 by 30 feet.
Oh, right on. Right on. And so right now you're having temperature issues though. You're working to bring down the temperature of the shade cloth.
Yeah, we've got the top covered 3/4 with shade cloth. We're going to throw another piece over it on Friday. And we're experimenting with different types of fans. And we find that the foggers bring down the temperature by 5 degrees, whereas the sprayers will kind of keep the temperature stable. So we're down to about 98 degrees and we need to get 95. So a little stronger shade cloth and a higher speed fan should do the trick. So it's got to be perfect.
Well, Ken, we have some questions for you, brother, in the chat. We want to get to before we get back to Mike. But what a great presentation! Really appreciate seeing this again. Always learn so much from you around all this. And one question that I want to ask right off the top. I was having a discussion with niche market, getting some niche market ideas this morning with one of our leaders, and the question came up about pollinating lilikoi, because a lot of people are saying that they don't, they see the flowers, but they're not getting fruits. And so what do you recommend to be the best pollinator for lilikoi? Well,
carpenter bees are the best pollinator. Some people are going out and hand pollinating it. That I'm not going to get around to doing that. So leave old logs and rotten wood, around the vines, and hopefully and some water, and hopefully the carpenter bees will find a home in some of your logs and things.
Cool, great, thanks, Ken. So Vince, you have a list of all the other questions?
Yeah, Ken, we've got a question from Mary in terms of the durian production. When you say members of, is that the Tropical Fruit Growers Association members?
Yeah, we're Hawaii Tropical Fruit Growers. This is our 31st year. Our 30th conference was supposed to be in September, and now it's going to be virtual. And so that'll be announced in about a week when we get all the videos posted. And then you have 2 weeks to watch the videos, and then we'll do a real-time presentation, not presentation, but just Q&A with the different speakers.
Sounds exciting. Sounds exciting. That's great.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good. I'll let you know so you can spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the other question, Vince?
No, you got another one. Sasha's asking, Canepa is her favorite fruit, but she's never seen it in Hawaii.
Which
Are you
one?
familiar with that? Canepa.
That we just showed a picture of it.
Yeah, but where have you seen that?
There's a few in the Hilo Arboretum and National Park on Kauai. Oscar Giant at fruitlovers.com has some.
In Pune, he's in Pune.
Yeah, a couple people in Pune, and I'll remember eventually. Ask Gianti Nan in Kula at Nature Works Nursery. Well, I don't know where Sasha is, which island. So
He's on Oahu, Waimanalo.
okay, tell Frankie to go get him then.
There you go.
Frankie might have some at Frankie's nursery in Waimanalo.
Got another question from Puna. True Ume, Japanese plums are growing the Big Island at low elevations, originally from Osaka. Do you know of any growers growing that?
Well, they're actually from China originally. The non-kobai is the Anzu and Sumomo Ume cultivars are from Wakayama Ken, and some others are from Guma Ken. But yeah, we grow a lot of them here. Most of ours go to Leanne Wong, you know, the chef from
Right.
Hawaii.
Cocoa Head
Head Grill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty easy to grow from cuttings. I mean, there's a lot of old trees around Kona. All the old Japanese families had this kind of ume because it was the only one that would grow here.
Ken, we have Woody Myers from Holland, who presented last time on this morning from Holland. He's got a question: how to bring all these different products to the global market? Are there exporters for specialized products?
We need infrastructure, which we don't have.
Right.
You know, these it's illegal to ship 95% of these things outside of Hawaii. Hell,
Right.
I can't ship the plants to you know, another island without having to go repot them into soilless media, going and spending an hour in the airport while it's inspected, and they tape it up, and I take it right to, you know, Hawaiian Cargo or to the post office or something. So it's going to be a while.
Right. And also there's a question about there's a question about,
sorry, that's a lot of why I focus on the value added products is because you can ship those anywhere.
there you go. No, that's right on, Ken. And you did such a great job value adding stuff in your classes. People need to know that I don't know when you're holding your classes next after the pandemic, but if you can get to Ken's class, he really does a great job of it. There's a question on having spices milled here on island. Is there a place to get the crops milled?
Not effectively, but there's enough mills. I mean, you see them and pop up on Instagram ads and Facebook ads, you know, for these little home mills, you know, grind your old rice down into flour. I mean, I use the little $10 Long's coffee grinders.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not doing that much of it, you know, where I'm, you know, if we're going to make 10 bags at a time or something, we're not making 100 bags. If you want to take it to the next level and get, you know, heavy machinery, it goes up from, you know, $1,000 worth of equipment to $45,000-$50,000 worth of equipment.
Right.
And that's where the gap comes. And that's what the Maui Food Innovation Center, which is just great, really helps people to work slowly up the ladder. So some of my students have products in Whole Food nationally, but they're making jams and jellies and bottled goods. So it's a lot easier when you start drying spices. And, you know, and I'm sorry if anybody here works for the Department of Health, but some of your bosses are stuck in around the time of the Meiji Restoration in 1868, but it's a whole different story.
Don't get him started. So
Yeah.
Ken, thank you so much, brother. I know we could go on for a lot longer, and we'd be intrigued as we all are, just riveted with this presentation. Thank you so much, man. You've always been such a giver and a community leader, and so thank you for doing that again tonight. You know, we have I wanted everybody to toast you with their Ola Brew tonight. Everybody got your Ola brew handy. Please give a toast to Ken Love in the house. Yeah, baby. Thanks, Ken. And I want to talk to you about presenting at our convention this year too. So we'll be in touch.
That was bad luck for me last year, man.
Yeah, I know that. We'll get you back. And I wanted to, we want to get Mike Love back on. I wanted to point out, though, a couple things about our convention. Some of our keynote presenters we're going to have this year is Paul Stamets from Fantastic Fungi, the world-class mycologist, Dr. Elaine Ingham, the soil food web, who mapped out the soil food web, Joel Salatin from Virginia, who really can speak to people about how to bootstrap a business up to making a living at it, and Jeff Moyer from Rodale, to name a few of the keynotes we're going to be having. Jeff Moyer was the father of the roller crimper for cover crops, and so wonderful stuff going to be coming in November 13th through the 15th. So stay tuned to that. I want to bring Mike Love back on to close out the evening. And please, everybody, tune into Mike Love's music if you haven't already. I think a lot of you have. This is the biggest participation we've had on a Zoom. So this combination was an amazing combination tonight. The Love Fest, as I was calling it. Lorraine Love's on here too tonight. So we have another Love on the call. Also wanted to point out that Makana Music and Dr. Noah Lincoln is going to present at our next speaker series 2 weeks from now. So please tune back in, same time, same station. I want to thank Vincent Kimura for being such a leader and bringing these speaker series forward and doing all the logistical dance with that. So Vincent, thank you, brother. And what I like to say in our organization, between Vince and I, we work really hard to convince people about the importance of HFUU being on the map here. And we got other leaders on. We got Revo Day and Maureen Data and Annabelle Group and HFUU Puna's on tonight. So it's really wonderful. We got Mama Kalavai on, all our chapters. Who? Oh, David Case is on. Irene's in the other room going, David Case. And so David Fisher is on tonight. So it's wonderful to see a lot of our leaders here. And thank you so much, Ken Love. So Mike Love, please take us home, baby.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thanks again, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Hello,
and what a beautiful and intriguing presentation from Ken. I'm so thankful I was here to just consume all of that, and man, amazing. So thank you guys. Thanks again for having me on. It's my pleasure to be a part of this, and lovely to see your beautiful community of farmers. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for growing good food for the people, for yourselves, for your family, for your community. It's beautiful. This one's called Penniless. Truly, I think having good food is so much a part of our wealth. Happiness, love, light, it all comes from feeding our temple. And the better we eat, the better we feel, the better our bodies work. So thank you guys. Thanks for all of that. This is Penniless. my brothers and brothers. I just can't hold my tongue no more. Cause I'm sure that the weak and the poor got something to say, but they can't be, so nobody listens. And the man with the hell of a plan can do nothing but his hands, but it's stuck at the back with his issues. It don't seem right. Somewhere to the dignity guys and never have to work a single day in their lives. Oh, somebody tell me why I get paid half as much to work, oh Lord, twice as hard. It's all these yuppie jerks, oh yeah, just because I wear a suit and a tie, my out of my mind, to which that I was ready late, so that I could rest. All the money troubles give me stress, I was wanting more, and I've been less, all these worries take my life away, because another day, coming never wait, jump up beside the street, rub up in the drain. I think it would be best if we all were just more penniless. Yeah. They say you're penniless, you're broke, but to me it's a joke. Cause the one thing is one spend the least of it, the other and nothing is one that trust fund. They gotta save them when the judge, because we just watch them learn. Yeah, cause the dynamite's coming and it's gonna break and take away all ignorance, for the truth in its way. Cause in the system, I can fail, let your judge is for bail. But the innocent and your judges are murdered mistake. But I know that there will come a day where the freeze will go and take this all away. Everything will be okay, yeah. If we can just find a way, yeah. All these money troubles, give me stress. I was wanting more, and I've been less. All these worries take my life away. Because another day, I'm coming never wait. Come up beside me, come up in the rain. I think it would be best if we all were just more painless. Oh, what we are within our hearts will always be, will never part. And what we hold within our hands will quickly turn to smoke and sand. So let it go. Let it go. Oh, let go. Let go. Rain and fall and wash you away, and sunny shine and light. Day and night, way and light, just to run like day and all. Oh, dear neighbor, soon our tears fear, so lady, go 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 lady. Let go, 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 let go. 'Cause what we are within our hands turn the smoke and sand. So let it go, let it fade, let it slide and slip away. And may your soul be at rest, rich in love and rich in joy and rich in truth and truly blessed, truly painless.
Yeah, baby.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Thank you guys.
Wow.
Thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate you.
That's beautiful. Man. That's beautiful.
Love you.
Love you too,
Oh,
brother.
if your breath, John will answer your prayers. So just be up, cause I will always be there. And please be careful to fill your heart up with care, and positivity will follow you everywhere you go. Oh, my little brother, bless you, my sister, and Jah loves you, mama, and Jah loves you, papa. Say it's a beautiful world I believe in, but it's a crazy world. Was it always changing? Seems like every time we get comfy and we settle down, then they uproot us and they do us into moving. How many of my brothers, how many sisters have given up their lives? Stupid bonds in these wicked war games, manipulated into thinking that their father died for their religion, killing in God's name again. But inside that we all just the same job. So true love, I am singing from my heart, and so want you to know, yo, I love you. Yes, and your love is the reason that we're standing here. So let me be clear, oh Hannah, I love you. Still this war goes on, but if we run away, we will live to fight another day. And if you can't hold on, just take my hand and pray, cause I know that love will find a way. Oh, love will always find a way. Oh, so true love, I am singing from my heart, and so want you to know, I love you. Yes, and your love is the reason that we're standing here. So let me be clear for us, I love you. Shalom. If your breath Jah will answer your prayers, so just be up, cause I will always be there. And please be careful to fill your heart with care, and positivity will follow you everywhere you go. Yeah, my little brother, yo, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, my sister. She loves you, mama. She loves you, papa. love you. La, la, la. La 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 la, Hawaii Farmers Union, I love you. Oh, la 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 la, I love you.
Yeah, baby.
All right, family.
Oh,
Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thanks to everybody for being here. Thanks to Ken. I can do one more.
yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Hana
Good.
ho, brother.
All right.
Hana ho.
I'll do one more before I go. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for all the love.
Thank you so
I think we might be spotlighted in the wrong spot. There you go. Thank you guys again. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for all of your support for my music over the years. You know, I just want to say thank you and you know how important all of you are to me and how thankful I am for you. This is a tune called No Regrets. It's a song about family. I wrote this for my grandpa. I wrote this for my youngest son as he was being born into the world. My grandpa as he was leaving it, and for all my children in between, and my beautiful wife, and my parents, and my sister, and all of my friends. And I wrote it as a reminder, a reminder for myself to leave this world with no regrets. I think the important thing to remember is, you know, not to get caught up in this crazy busy world that we live in. And sometimes we get caught up in the future and planning for the future, and caught up in the past and things we could have done better. And really the most important thing is just to be in the moment, be here with the ones that we love. And we're so blessed to know so many beautiful and wonderful souls. And just to remember that when we get the chance to be together in these beautiful moments that we get, to not waste them and not let ourselves be distracted, but to just be in the moment with one another, because these are the best gifts that we were given, you know, these beautiful relationships. So
Why they call
thank you
it the
guys so
present?
much. Thanks for tuning in.
Why they call it the present, Mike?
All this time will pass into the past. So if you're happy, then make each moment last. Don't hold nothing back. Yeah. And if you're suffering, remember it won't last. Get over it fast. Get back to living, giving love. Oh, this life is just a test. I will remember this life ain't over yet. So please remember not to forget a newborn baby's cry. Their very first years, they are so hopeful, and great grandfathers die. After many years, it is a circle. Teenagers find love. They screw it all up. They are so fearful, yet somehow invincible. Oh, this life is not a curse, no. There will be hard times, and it will get worse, but always do your best. And always remember that you are blessed. Oh, everywhere you go, plant seeds, love will grow. But remember who you are. If you travel far, remember your heart is where your home is. Sweet travel to the stars. Remember your heart, and you won't be homeless or homesick at all. But this life is just a test with many failures and some success, but I will place my bets, and I will leave here with no regret. Cool. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Love you.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Thank you so much, man. That just hit home, brother. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
To you and your family, Mike and Ken Love. Thank you for the Love Fest tonight. It was truly that. We were fortunate recipients of all that love. And to everybody that hung in there to the end, thank you for all being here. I hope you're all HFUU members. Continue to support. Hola, baby. Hola. Hola. Thank you, Mary Spadaro and Slow Food, Slow Money, Hawaii. And everybody, thank you for supporting local agriculture. Us as farmers really appreciate all the love that we get from our community and valuing the way that we grow our food here in Hawaii. With Hawaii Farmers Union values and regenerating the land, the life in the land, to be able to grow this healthy food, to make healthy decisions and stay away from any viral infections. So everybody out there, please stay positive, test negative, and we love you and see you in 2 weeks, okay? Makana and Dr. Noah Lincoln. Mike, please come back and join us again, okay? And we'll see you soon.
Thank you. I'd love to. I'd love to. Thanks for having me.
All right. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha, everybody.
Yeah.